Okay, we are back in the kitchen. We are gonna make some authentic Louisiana red beans and rice. But I'm gonna have our red beans. This is an old, not old, but a few weeks ago cooking. It's a ham bone that's left over from a piece of ham. I put it in a Ziploc and in the freezer. We're gonna use this ham bone when we cook our beans. Add a little bit of flavor to the beans, some cumin, chili powder. There's some salt. I always use Himalayan salt. Pepper. We're gonna use some chicken stock to help flavor this up a little bit. Some andouille sausage, hot sausage because we want it spicy. We have the sausage that we're gonna cut up, but we're also gonna cut up some chunks we use about half of that ham and freeze the rest of it. Put some meat in there. That's gonna be our rice. Of course, we have the Holy Trinity. In Louisiana, they call it the Holy Trinity. Y'all know that from my videos. Onions, bell peppers, celery. That's the Holy Trinity. And that's the Pope, garlic. So we're going to get started. Hold on to your hat. All right, we got our water almost fixing to boil. We put our piece of ham in there. Then we're going to add these beans. We want to boil these beans for about 10 minutes just to get them good and hot. And then we're going to add them with everything else. We want to get the beans started. So that's that. Let's see how a lot of people are cutting up their bell pepper wrong. Check this out. Look at that. You got the whole gosh darn thing. Like stuff out of the middle. A couple of seeds. Break that off. See? Isn't that cool? That's how you cut up a bell pepper. You chop, 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 chop. Moving on. Okay, we like to see some of the finished product. There's, what do we call this? Holy Trinity. There's the Pope. That's our sausage and our piece of pork that we cut up. We kind of cube that, slice the sausage, cube that. We still got some seasoning. We're gonna use chicken stock, but also some water because that gives the beans a whole lot more flavor. And after we saute this stuff and mix it with the beans, we're gonna make the rice. So we still got a little ways to go. But doesn't that look nice? Now the first thing we're gonna do is our sausage and that piece of pork that we cubed, that we cut up. Put our sausage, our pork. Oops, almost dropped it. Almost dropped it. All of that in there. We're gonna get that. We're not gonna cook it really good. We just want to get a nice sear on the outside of it because, of course, this is going in with the beans. But we're gonna take off on the sausage now. Let's see here. Get this meat cooking. Just get it kind of brown. Get a nice sear on it. We're doing this first, and then we're gonna do the vegetables because we want to get all that fat and some of the juice from all this pork, the sausage and that piece of cut pork. And then we're going to saute our vegetables in that juice. Just give them some more flavor. We will be back. Our beans are still... Okay, you'll see we did our pork. We took our pork out of that grease. And we're going to get our Holy Trinity and begin putting this stuff in here. Lots and lots of vegetables. We'll try to dump the whole plate, but I'm afraid I'll spill it. Using one hand for the phone, one hand for the vegetable. Oops, drop one. Run away. Convict. Got a prisoner escape. All these good vegetables. We'll cook these down. They're nice and soft. And then we will add some we have the Philippines calling. All right, let's get some of the onions also. Woo, that's a lot. Uh-oh. More runaways. Prisoner escape. I'm gonna get those. So we're adding all of our vegetables. Now let's see if we can do the plate. The pork on the plate. Now this is gonna work. Yahoo! That worked okay. Got just a few more we want to get. All right, we are rocking and rolling. Let that cook down pretty good. They're nice and soft. And then we're gonna add our chicken broth and our seasonings and our beans to this. So we're gonna let that cook a little while. Okay, so we can see we got our vegetables cooked down. They're starting to get soft. You can get them all the way soft, or at least starting to get soft. We always cook the Holy Trinity first and let it cook for a little while before we put the garlic in it. Because a lot of folks don't know, you can't cook garlic with the rest of your vegetables. You have to wait and add the garlic last. Because most people burn their garlic, and they don't know what really good, slightly cooked garlic tastes like. They don't know because they always burn it. It's still good, the garlic is still good, but it's much better if you put it in last and you don't burn it. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna put our meat back in here. Gonna add the meat. This one's gonna be difficult. Let's see, how do we wanna do this? We're gonna add about 2 cups of water, and we're gonna have to go with the water, check the water later. Let's do this like this. We wanna take some of the beans out of here, because we gotta pour this, because all of the seasonings are in this pot, right? So we want to put the beans into this pot with our vegetables. So let's get some of the beans out. I said earlier we were going to add the chicken broth to the vegetables, but I actually added it with the beans. So we can get in those beans early. So we get some of the beans out of here, because that pot is a little bit hot and it's heavy, but it's still okay. Pour all that juicy chicken broth water. Put those beans in there. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna bring these beans to a boil. When we bring them to a boil, and when they're boiling, we're gonna turn it down and let it simmer for about 2 hours. Look at all those vegetables, all that meat, all those beans, and it smells so good. We haven't even added the spices yet, and it smells so good. We know some of that water is going to cook down. Again, we're going to bring it to a boil. When it's boiling, we're going to turn it off. Turn it down to low. We're going to cover it, black pepper, and let it just simmer real low for about 2 hours. I'm going to put this is a big pot. So we're gonna put plenty of pepper. We have pork, so we don't need a lot of salt. We don't need much salt because there's so much salt in that pork. Get your favorite Cajun seasoning. This one's mine. It's Tony Chachere's. It actually comes from my home state, my home province. It's a Louisiana Cajun seasoning. We're gonna put some of that in there. The only thing I'm missing is I do not have bay leaves. You should put 2 bay leaves in this, and I'm so disappointed in myself because I went to the store just this evening and I forgot to get the gosh darn bay leaves. I'm gonna put some cumin because it has a very distinct, just about no, this is actually a double portion, so we're gonna put about 1/2 of a teaspoon. We just bought this afternoon, so we got to open it. Open this. This is chili powder. That gives a distinct flavor. And cayenne, just a little bit of cayenne pepper because we want to give it a little more heat. Just a wee tad. That is it. We got our rice cooking. Actually, our rice is settling right now. We're gonna mix this up. We're gonna turn our timer on to 2 hours, and we will be back in 2 hours. Okay, folks, that is the finished product. The red beans and rice. Of course, you can see the sausage and some pieces of ham, the rice, the vegetables all through here. There's the cornbread. That's our piece of cornbread. That's it. So good. It's got all those flavors. And what I really like about this, even when I was a kid, this is my mother would make this. It was my favorite dish as a kid, red beans and rice. And you think red beans and rice, it sounds like nothing, but if it's Louisiana red beans and rice, there are so many different spices and vegetables, and it's very not very spicy, but it's kind of spicy. Or you can make it mild, but I like mine kind of spicy. Look how good. Look at that. That looks so good. Oh my gosh! Look at those beans, the sausage, the pork, celery, onions, bell pepper, garlic. And of course, we have a little bit of bread, and there's some juice there down on the bottom. But that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. And if you're watching this video, help us kind of promote this channel. Down on the bottom, you see the subscribe button. Click the subscribe button. Click like. Share this on your Facebook. Share it on to your family, on your Twitter, or whatever, your social media, and help us promote this channel, because we're doing lots of videos in the U.S. and a lot in the Philippines. So it's going to be very interesting. But that's our supper for tonight. Thanks for watching, folks.